3, the final video of my rank time with JShrek video on the MCU movies and the last final 6 movies. Now, I want to just dive right into this so this video is not too long. So let's get started. Number 6, we have the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. This was the movie that really changed things up a lot, really brought about the cosmic and space stories and everything, and really brought a lot more to the table in the MCU and how they were going to deal with Thanos. Now you get to see a little more Thanos, not a whole lot, but you do get to see a little bit, and you get to hear about him and how he has his daughters Gamora and Nebula and everything, and how they came to be, and you learn about them. You learn a little bit about all the other characters like Rocket a little bit, but Groot, and you learn about their characteristics, and you really get a good sense of the chemistry with all of the members of the Guardians. The humor is fantastic, very well executed throughout the movie, really fun movie, really enjoyable, really something that a lot of people did not expect this movie to really do. It was another one of those movies that was just really unexpectedly, really enjoyable, and a lot of people really enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed it, which is why it's at number 6, because it's just a pretty much, well, fantastic movie almost all around. The only problem is, once again, the villain. A lot of these Marvel movies really struggle with their villains. And Ronan just really, he just wasn't very good at all. And I do like, though, that they started including Infinity Stones even more with this movie. And I believe that they actually used the word Infinity Stone in this movie. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I believe they actually refer to it as an Infinity Stone. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm probably wrong, but I think they actually used the word Infinity Stone. That's all I have for Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's get into the next movie. At number 5, we have Doctor Strange. Yes, I did that purposely because I'm kind of a strange person. Yes, that was a joke on my part, which was probably pretty terrible. But Doctor Strange is a very interesting movie. It was one of the films that really connected the cosmic universe with the Earth and everything about how all of that came about. With Dormammu and how everything came about with that, included more about the Time Stone and everything with the Eye of Agamotto, which was really cool. I loved the inclusion of that. Benedict Cumberbatch as Dr. Stephen Strange himself was a very good choice. He did a really good job as Doctor Strange, and I really enjoyed how he comes about and changes his personality over time and everything, but at the same time he's still kind of like that asshole that Stephen Strange originally was from the beginning. There was a lot of good humor throughout this movie as well, but once again there was that villain problem with all those guys and everything that were trying to get themselves like consumed and really didn't know what they were really doing and how bad what they were doing actually was, which was a very hard to understand throughout the movie at times, but this movie was very enjoyable. I really liked it when I first saw it. It was one of the first Marvel movies that I actually saw with my girlfriend, and it was just a well done movie overall for the most part. Now that's all I have for Doctor Strange. Now let's get into the last 4 movies of this video. At number 4, we have Thor Ragnarok. Yes, this movie was very well done. It was definitely one of the first Thor movies that I thoroughly enjoyed. And at the same time, I love how they included the Hulk into the movie and how it was kind of like a buddy comedy between the two of them. It was very funny, very well put together. I loved actually Hela and her backstory and how they used her in the movie and how she brought about the darker side and tendencies in the movie, while when you were with Thor and the Hulk, it was more of a fun, humorous type of movie. And I think they did a pretty well job balancing the darkness and the humor throughout the movie. But at the same time, I feel like it was a little too fun and a little too humorous, which I think a lot of people struggle with a little bit, because when you want Thor and like the Hulk in a superhero movie, you think of a lot of more action, a little darker and everything, and you don't think of that much humor. But they wanted to really try something different, really bring out that part of Thor that a lot of people liked from the Avengers movies, and wherever he appeared, minus his role in the Dark World. So they did a really good job with Loki in this movie. I thought Loki's inclusion and everything, and when he first saw the Hulk himself, just how like, oh no, this guy again. Because he probably remembers how in the first Avengers movie, how Hulk just picked him up and swung him around like crazy, and at that point the Hulk, my favorite Hulk line is "Puny God," which was probably the funniest things I've ever heard from the Hulk. I liked how they put Doctor Strange into the movie and included him in a sense as well, with his cameo role. I really enjoyed that whole scene where Thor's looking for his dad and he's drinking the beer and it just keeps filling up, and how he's just like, who is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is, and yet he's trying to help me or whatever, which was very probably very confusing to the character in the role and everything. But at the same time, I feel like that was probably very important when it comes to including Doctor Strange into Infinity War, which is coming out this weekend. So we'll see how that will come about and how Doctor Strange will actually be included. That's all I have for Thor Ragnarok. Now let's get into number 3. Alright guys, we're into our last 3 movies, and at number 3 we have Spiderman Homecoming. Now, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, so I might be a little bit biased about this movie being at number 3, but it's not number 1, because if I put it at number 1, that would be pretty super biased result, which I don't think is fair to some of the other movies, because there are movies that are better than Spider-Man Homecoming. There are 2 exact, and Spider-Man Homecoming was very enjoyable. I liked Tom Holland as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. He did a good job balancing out like a very early on Spidey, how he's not as experienced, how he's still learning and everything, and just how he is coming to be. I love that, coming to be the better superhero than just automatically being the super strong, super amazing hero from the start, like the other Spider-Man movies were trying to pull off, because they were trying to speed things up. Now, when it comes to the MCU, which is good, they're not trying to speed up Spider-Man too much, which I really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming, with how Iron Man made his appearances and everything. He was not trying to take the spotlight from Spider-Man at all. He had a nice inclusion and everything about how it picked up almost right after Civil War, in a sense, like right at the beginning, and then a few months later and everything. Peter Parker is still waiting to try to hear more from Tony and everything about like when he's so excited and everything and wants to get back in there and everything, but all he's doing is just little stuff, and he doesn't feel like he's making that big of a difference that he wants to make, which was very cool about like how they put that into his character and how he's coming to be and everything, which is when the Vulture came about, which a lot of people were like, the Vulture, really? That's not a very big like villain for the it's not a very big villain for the movie, but they actually did a really good job with developing the Vulture in this movie. Like, you really understand his character and why he's doing what he's doing. Like, his the main thing is that he's stealing all of this alien technology to help him and his friends out, because they are no longer allowed to do all the cleanup from all the destruction and everything that has happened. But so it's really cool about like how the Vulture came to be and why he's doing what he is, and that basically he doesn't want Spider-Man to get in his way and everything, but yet Spider-Man really shines out in the end and really stops him and really brings about justice in the movie. In the end, has actually proven himself to Tony about like how big of a hero and how much he can actually accomplish, which actually brings about in Tony's eyes like, okay, this guy is serious. He really wants to actually do this, but he's still a young guy, and I don't want him to put himself in all of this danger so immediately. So like, you understand why Iron Man Tony Stark is trying to keep Peter Parker and everything from being stupid and being reckless. There's a lot of good things about this movie. Also the fact that it's not an origin movie and that they're not retelling the whole thing about how Peter Parker was bitten by the spider. They mention it, and I do like how they have new characters that we haven't seen yet in Spider-Man films, like Liz Allen, and you see Ned, his friend, and everything. And those characters were very well developed. And even the inclusion of a different type of Flash Thompson, like he's still kind of like that bully, but he's more of like that inner nerd group bully. He's actually within that nerd realm of Peter Parker himself, and that he's kind of like the bully of like that clique per se, he's more than that. He's not necessarily that jock bully that he is typically personified throughout the Spider-Man series, which is very interesting. I liked it, but at the same time I didn't like it, just because it's not what I am typically used to when it comes to Spider-Man. Now, that's all I have for Spider-Man Homecoming. Let's get into number 2. At number 2, we have Black Panther. That's right. The latest installment into the MCU is one of my top 2 favorite movies. I remember at the end of watching Black Panther, I looked at my one friend and I said, I like this movie better than Spider-Man Homecoming, which is something because I am a huge Spider-Man fan. And Black Panther, they did a really good job with developing the culture, really showing that throughout the movie, really showing how T'Challa and everything is trying to not overcome, but maintain a good balance of like what's right and what he should be doing and everything, and his struggles as being king of Wakanda, which is really something unique that you haven't quite seen yet in a Marvel film. And the way he goes about it and everything, they spend a lot of time in Wakanda. But whenever they do spend time outside of Wakanda, it's not too much of the movie, and a lot of that action and everything is really well done. I really like the other characters that are within the movie as well, like T'Challa's sister and those tribes women that have the giant spears and everything. Like, they were all funny. They were all great in the movie as well. There's a lot of beautiful scenery that is actually shown throughout the movie and everything. And I really like how everything was just well put together within the movie to make a fantastic movie. Only problem that I had a little bit is that at first, like, it was a little confusing about like who the villain was, because there's a lot of Claw and there's a lot of Killmonger. But as soon as Claw is taken care of, Killmonger really takes his time to shine and make himself a really well developed villain. Now, Michael B. Jordan as Killmonger, like, I wouldn't have expected that and wanted that originally, but he did a great, fantastic job and really showed off his skills as an actor and actually as a pretty good villain within the MCU, which is one thing that they actually are finally trying to do, really develop their villains a lot more and a lot better. And I like a lot of the twists and everything that you find out about Michael B. Jordan and everything, his role, and just how everything just comes together and meshes into a fantastic, well done movie. Now, that's all I have for Black Panther. Now let's get into my number one movie. At number one, my favorite and a lot of other people's favorite as well, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. This movie was definitely something a lot different compared to a lot of the other superhero films within the whole, not only the Captain America franchise, but in general within the cinematic universe. It definitely had a much different feel that I actually really enjoyed. I liked the fact that they almost made it out as if Captain America was the bad guy, that he is the one that like betrayed S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything, and just how S.H.I.E.L.D. is falling apart and how Hydra is back and everything, and about how like Hydra is kind of like trying to take over S.H.I.E.L.D. and everything, and just how S.H.I.E.L.D. is falling apart is just well put together, and about how they bring about the scientists and everything from the original Captain America movie within a lot of that, within the bunker and everything, with all that technology and everything. That was really cool. That was really well put together. I really thought that the chemistry between Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow and Captain America once again was very well developed, really well put together. They are good partners, in my opinion. I really hope that we see more of their companion partnership in Infinity War when it comes out. I really enjoyed how they had Bucky come back as the Winter Soldier, and I really enjoy his role as the Winter Soldier itself, which we get to see a lot more in Civil War, and just how his character is involved is really cool, and also how we also get a new hero at the same time, which is the Falcon. I really enjoy the Falcon and how he played a part in the Winter Soldier and how he helped out. His suit is really amazing. The story of this movie is also really clear and easy to understand and easy to follow. Like, it definitely is my favorite movie in the franchise, and I enjoy all the Marvel movies independently for what they are. But if when I I was going through and trying to figure out what my favorite Marvel films are, it came about to which ones do I like more, which ones do I like better, and why, and everything. And it was almost really difficult for some, but this one was a really clear winner, really stood out, and really stands out to not only me, but a lot of other people within this, within the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise. Now, that's all I have for you. We have come to a close with all these videos. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that you liked all these videos. Please give this video a like if you liked it. Comment any suggestions in the comment section down below about any other things that you might want me to rank in the future. And also, don't be afraid to subscribe if you want to keep up with all my videos. That's all I have for you today. I'll see you in the next video.